My husband and I have been married since 2008, and we have 2 boys, Alex, who is 9, and Andy, who's 6, and they're best friends. I love being a boy mom. It's wonderful. I get to stay home with them, and they make me laugh every day.
Alex is special. He's very clever and funny, and he really likes to playfully get under my skin, which I've trained him to do that, and I think it's hilarious, but it's also infuriating because he's good at it. But his main goal is to make people laugh.
He also loves to learn. He has such a passion for space and geography and trains, and he just loves to share his passions with friends, family, or whoever will listen. When we were told Alex had leukemia, we were shocked. He was just such a healthy kid.
Alex did a really good job with treatment right out the door, and he didn't seem to lose a whole lot of energy at first. His hair didn't fall out right away. At the time, it just seemed like an inconvenience.
Alex was reaching the end of his frontline treatment when we noticed something was wrong. Alex started to lose the use of the right side of his body, and he started slurring his speech. It was really scary, and he deteriorated really fast. We realized a couple days later that it was methotrexate toxicity.
He was sedated for 3 days, and when he came out of it, I remember putting my finger in his hand and I said, "Alex, can you squeeze my hand? It's Daddy." No response. "Alex, can you look at me? It's Daddy." No response. "Alex, can you say anything? It's Daddy." No response. And it was terrifying because this was not the response that we were expecting when he woke up.
Since then, we have spent months and months and months of grueling physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. He's walking again, he's talking again, he's writing again, but not like a 9-year-old should. He still has a long way to go.
We knew how much work it was going to be, but having been through it, and now we're 9 months past it, and Alex is getting around the house by himself. He can drink from a cup. That's something you take for granted. But for me, the hardest times were driving to and from the hospital, because when you do that, you're alone, and you're alone in your own head. And there were times I had to pull over, probably at least once a week, where it's just, I've got a massive breakdown coming, and I can feel it, and like, it's welling up. Pull over for about 2 minutes, cry hard, get it out of my system, and go do what I need to do because my son needs me.
Alex is starting to get back to school and getting back to a lot of the things that he loves. He's come so far in his therapy. He's playing his favorite video games again. He's playing board games again. He's going on walks.
I think it's important for Alex to be the LLS Boy of the Year because we were dealt an awful hand, and it's not the end of the world. Alex has bounced back in a way that we really didn't expect. He had a severe case of the brain inflammation. We were told the median for recovery was 8 days, and we're at 9 months now and he's still recovering. But even though it's been difficult, it hasn't been bad. We still have our kid. He still makes us laugh. We still love him. And I think it's important to know that things do get better.
Our family is a party of 5. We have Justin, my husband, of course me, and then we have Bryce, Marshall, and Kennedy. Our everyday life is absolute chaos, and I love every minute. The boys are involved in anything sports. You know, Bryce is in football, used to be rugby. Marshall plays baseball. Kennedy, however, cannot run and chew gum at the same time. So she's more of maybe will be a water girl for a sports team or definitely holding some pom-poms.
Daughters they're special. Kennedy is into everything pink and everything princess, but she rules the roost. There's no question who's the boss in our house.
Kennedy is 4 years old, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 T-cell lymphoma. Kennedy was never sick prior to diagnosis. She was diagnosed at 3. But prior to that, she had no sickness. She had a little bit of wheezing, which we first noticed and then took her in.
As a dad, it is an absolute helpless feeling when you see your little girl laying there, and just initially being diagnosed. And then there was another time I remember where she actually went into shock when we were in the hospital, and just seeing her laying there, it's something I will never forget. You can't fix it. You want to be able to fix everything. You feel like you should be able to fix everything, and in those moments you can't. I mean, you can't. A lot of praying.
In nursing school, I never wanted to do pediatric oncology. I think it takes a special nurse to do that. For me, it was not my calling, but here I am, all in the middle of it. And nursing is definitely a double-edged sword, because I do know too much, and when it comes to my daughter, at times I would rather I didn't know it at all.
I never knew whether or not to be nervous. I didn't necessarily want to know whether or not to be nervous, but I could see in her face when something was awry, when something wasn't going the way she thought it should be going, and that's when I got nervous, when I knew she did.
Kennedy's diagnosis definitely hit our family hard, but more so in that Kennedy has been almost a symbol to our family of my little brother, who we lost on her first birthday. So just to get this to happen to Kennedy after I feel like to our family she is symbolic of already so much was just a whole lot to take in.
We are super proud of Kennedy. She's a fighter. She'll fall and scrape her knee or scrape her elbow, and she'll get up and cry, and we'll tell her she's tough, and she'll look at us and say, no, I'm not. And we look at her and you say, yeah, you are. And she is a fighter.
I can't put into words how she amazes me on a daily basis. Just her fight, her strength, how she cannot get down. She doesn't get down about anything.
There are a lot of kids that live this way, and it's something that you don't realize. You see the commercials, and you're sad for a few minutes because you're human. And then football comes back on, and you go immediately switch right back into watching football, and you forget about it. Again, you're human, it's okay. But there are a lot of families that live this way every single day. It makes you want to help them. It truly brings out the human spirit in you, because you team up. Everybody in that hospital, you get to know the kids, you get to know the families, and you pull for each other. I guess it really just puts things into perspective.